thousands of children. And we know in many cases they're making these decisions based off profit. And you're like,
isn't that satanic?
Yeah, like, so who is that person?
Right.
Who the fuck is that person? Is it like they just do that at work and then they clock out and they're just like us? Or are they clocking out and doing some weird ritual at the Bohemian Grove? You know what I mean?
And when Mark Andreessen was on, he brought up this. He was the one that brought up the Satanist who was also the rocket scientist, right? At Los Alamos Labs. Was that him that brought that up? No, it wasn't. You know who it was? It was the opposite of Mark Andreessen. It was Python Cowboy. Right? Python Cowboy, the guy who, that's who it was. Andreessen brought up the nuclear tests, about how the videos are weird of the nuclear tests. Like there's a truck behind this building and then all of a sudden the truck disappears. Like it's very weird. Or the truck appears, like I forget which one, but it's like, and also like, how are they filming this? And there's all these conspiracies. He wasn't saying it was real, but he's like, the conspiracies are that this was all rigged, that it was fake. But there was a guy who was, they were doing this thing where they were removing pythons from this place in Florida. And they got to this place and he took all this video footage of this elaborate satanic ritual setup that they had down there, where they had things written on the wall in Latin, and they had a girl's bloody dress, and they had a chair that was covered in something red, and they're trying to figure out what the fuck was going on, and he wound up getting out of there. But then he found out that the history of that lab itself, that the guy who founded that lab was an open Satanist. Jack Parsons. Pull up those articles about him. Yeah, because we were playing it during the show. It's like, what? So this guy was involved in this nuclear weapons lab, and he's also an open Satanist? Like, what?
Yeah, that is fucking really strange.
Would wear the fucking outfits and go to these things, and this was in like the 50s?
And it does make you wonder to some degree. You're like, are you like, is there really a Satan, and are you really a part of his thing? Or is this just some weird game you're playing?
Yeah, like, look how these fucking people would dress, man. Look how insane this is. Go to that article. So the article is so bizarre. Sex, rocket scientists, and Satanism. Meet NASA's real hidden figures. Satanism. I mean, what? And this guy was a part of their program, and he was fucking openly in the Church of Satan. Like, look how they would dress. It was like walking into a Fellini movie. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck, man? Look at these people. These are the people that were responsible for this?
That's
like
Aleister Crowley.
Oh, my God.
Well, even like,
how insane are these fucking people?
With the Epstein thing I guess it's not exactly this, but you remember the like the pictures, the paintings that they found from him? There's one with George W. Bush when he's like a little kid and he's playing with the blocks that are in the towers.
Yeah.
And then there's like Bill Clinton in a dress or something like that. Like, it's not exactly Satanist shit, but it's still just kind of this weird, like,
well, the Clinton
what is
thing
this?
To me was like clear that like you have the president in a fucking dress, and we've talked about this. There's like a little fucking screenshot of me talking about it with Duncan. We're like, that is, to me, I got you. That's, I got you, bitch. Like,
and the George W. Bush one seems to be kind of like different, but a similar, like, this idiot has no idea what the fuck's going on.
Exactly. He's got a doofus look on his face.
But it's the planes in two towers, right? I mean, that seems to be like a 9/11 reference,
I mean, and if
right?
you're a guy who is supposedly, the conspiracy is that he was part of the intelligence agency, that he was something, Mossad or something.
Either Mossad or CIA or something.
Or a combination of those two. If you're that guy, you probably get like a real thrill out of having all this dirt on these incredibly important people, and then have like pictures of them looking stupid in your house.
Yeah. Well, you wonder, like, I don't know. There's just kind of room to speculate about it, but you wonder if there's probably a benefit to having very powerful people who you have dirt on them, right? So if you, let's say you take something like pedophilia, and that is a thing that, I don't know, maybe 99% of people want you dead if you are that. You know what I mean? Like it's like the thing that even in prison, like you will get like murdered for being that. Even amongst other violent criminals, there's this code that you don't do that. And most people who are not violent criminals really, you know what I mean? Like, so if you are, let's say, a pedophile, and you know that about someone, you own them now. And that's kind of what the Jeffrey Epstein thing seems to be like. Not even that they were pedophiles. I think in some cases they're tricked into it. You know, you get like 16-year-olds, you doll them up so they look like they're in their 20s. You bring the guy to party with them. The next day you're like, oh, she was 16, I have it on tape, and you're going to be voting yes on the legislation next week type deal. But you could see where, let's say you were a very powerful interest behind the scenes. You could see where if there were people who say, were pedophiles or who like cheated on their wives or just you had dirt on them, where you'd be interested in promoting that person because now you can control them much more easily, right? And so that you could see where it would maybe come to be that they would kind of like these really sick, fucked up people in these positions of power because then they're that much easier to control.
100%. That makes sense. It makes sense. You got dirt on them.
Yeah.
You know, makes sense. Hey, woman. Since your man ain't got no heart, why don't you go to my apartment tonight and I'll show you a real man.
There you go.
What? Fuck you.